Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices we've allowed for our platform. This mic to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you are actively following all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. It could be found under Frankie Olivo. Make sure you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, Brownsville, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. You want us to continue to cover the latest news that is coming out of our area? We'll gladly do so. All we ask in return is something so simple that won't cost you a dime. Something as simple as ABC 123. Now, you may ask, Frankie, why are you always starting off your program inviting people to subscribe to your different platforms, different channels? Well, there is a possibility that one day you may not find me on Facebook anymore. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, the constituents, the people, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So, if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, well, you know what to do. Make sure that you're subscribed to all of our social media platforms. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you're subscribed to Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube to tune in. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, Cameron County, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you provide us. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Monday. I hope each and every one of you had an eventful, restful weekend, getting ready to start the new week on the right foot. Today is President's Day. It is a federal holiday. Some are working, some are not. This past weekend was Valentine's Day on Saturday. I hope you're not in the doghouse right now for taking your spouse, your loved one, some sort of gesture of love. I'm not a cheap person. I'm the type that I don't care what something costs as long as it's good. When I talk about food, as long as the food is good, I'll pay top dollar for it. As long as the service is great. I went to HEB and I saw that everything was half off for Valentine's Day. So I told my Valentines, next year we will be celebrating Valentine's on 2/15 and 2/16. Again, I'm not cheap, but I was surprised. I was like, man, the flowers are, at a discounted rate. All the chocolates are half off. Can't you just wait one more day? No seas gordo, mijo. I'm not. I'm really not. I tend to splurge a little bit too much. So that's why I'm always broke. What else? The 1 year anniversary of my beloved predecessor was this weekend. It was bittersweet. Time flies when you're having fun. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are on the eve of early voting. Tomorrow, the polling locations, the voting sites will be opened up. The candidates have been campaigning for the past 12 months, vying for your vote, for your confidence, and they've been trying to disseminate and make sure that their message, their platform has resonated with you, the people. At the end of the day, we, the community, are able to elect our representatives. And it's very important for us to be well informed, We might have a certain preference in regards to a candidate. We might just simply not like or vote for somebody because of who they are, what party they are affiliated with. At the end of the day, I hope you appreciate this program because we tend to ask the difficult questions, but I think that is something that needs to be had. Whenever we talk about the major news agencies, they haven't really covered the different platforms, the different candidates, the baggage. And again, no candidate, no party is perfect. And I don't want the people to misconstrue what we do because at the end of the day, I understand that I live in a glass house. For every rock that I throw, I know 10 are coming my way. I've learned to accept that, and that's fair. At the end of the day, we want to hold those running for your vote, and those people that are running for your vote are asking for something very sacred. It's like if they want your treasure. What does your parents say? Don't give it up to anyone. Make sure it's worthy some. You're always going to remember this. Your vote matters, ladies and gentlemen. Your vote carries a lot of weight. Why do you think these politicians are spending thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on these positions? And my hat's off to each and every candidate that puts their name into the hat, because ultimately what they are doing is they are putting themselves under a microscope and they're saying, I am the best fit to be your representative. So I don't want you to think, oh man, all you do is you're so negative. At the end of the day, we feel as if the politician should be able to talk to the people, to show face. At the end of the day, what we expect, because who wants an elected leader that nobody hears from? Whenever they're in office, if we have a complaint, a question, a doubt, we hope that their office and their staff is welcoming. And maybe they can clarify any issues, any questions that we may have, right? But what happens whenever politicians aren't accountable? Isn't that what public service is all about? Being able to answer those tough questions? And to me, they're not tough questions. They're just basic, simple questions. For today's program, ladies and gentlemen, the theme throughout the next 40 minutes is going to be credibility. You see, credibility is a big word, and it's a very powerful one, because ultimately, we, the voters, are looking for individuals that are either trustworthy, that are accountable, that are transparent with the people. And credibility plays a big part into that. Today, we're going to ask the tough question because someone such as Steve Guerra, that is running for the Cameron County judge position, he's not answering questions. He's closed off from attending forums, town halls. He is selective to which event he shows up in. So if Mr. Steve Guerra is not willing to answer basic, simple questions, the attention will now be placed on Vicente Gonzalez, the congressman. And for today's program, we want to ask a very important question. Chente, con la gente. ¿Con cuál gente está, Chente? ¿Los de Bronsbil o los de Matamoros? And that is how we will start today's program. Thank you so much for tuning in, Bronsbil. But first, a word from our sponsor.
I've dedicated my life to public service, but now I see a county that's ready for change. It's time to bring accountability, transparency, and efficiency to how your tax dollars are managed. We can lower taxes and make government work smarter for you. I'm Jonathan Gracia, and I humbly ask for your vote for Cameron County Treasurer so together we can build a better future.
Remember, I want you to keep on thinking of credibility throughout the course of today's program, because it's going to be a very, very serious topic to talk about. Again, we want our politicians to be transparent in each and every sense of the word. It's great whenever they have campaign literature that has all the talking points, but whenever we don't hear from a candidate himself, it leads us to question, why is he avoiding the people? Why isn't he answering these basic questions? Is there something to hide? Is there something to be worried about? Did we hit the nail on the head on things that we have been bringing to light? At the end of the day, public service is all about showing face to the people. Remember, today we're going to talk about credibility. Something that is very powerful, because whenever we look at this picture on the screen, what do we see? We see the current congressman for Congressional District 34 taking a selfie with a Cameron County judge candidate in front of Capitol Hill. You see the white dome rising behind them. The Congressman Gonzalez he has a forced smile as he posed shoulder to shoulder with the city's most notorious huachicolero. The camera flashed, binding their unlikely alliance into a single damning frame. And whenever this camera flashed, this sealed an image. At the end of the day, as much as people don't want to admit it, they say that a picture speaks 1,000 words. An elected official lending the weight of his office on the Capitol to a man who cannot account for the cash that has created his mini empire. Now, everyone knows the rumors that Steve Guerras' fortune has or continues to come from huachicol, which is siphoned from the dark from ruptured pipelines and laundered through shell companies and half-built projects. Yet, Steve Guerra, as we're going to show you throughout the course of this program, has created an image for himself, and he has been given credibility by none other than our local congressman. Gonzalez speaks warmly of Guerra's entrepreneurial spirit, of community investment and involvement, as if reputation could somehow replace the suspicions that have long plagued and followed Steve Guerra. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, credibility in this case that we're going to talk about has become a currency more valuable than oil, than money. And this congressman, he spends it lavishly on a man whose wealth we do not know how it was created. Now, these are very serious allegations that we have brought before you with receipts. Now, we have prided ourselves and talked to you over and over again about us covering the different elections. Well, for Congressional District 34, Gonzalez has himself an opponent, Dr. Etienne Rosas, in the primary. And you, if you identify yourself with a Democrat, you will be voting in this race. When we talk about someone such as Vicente Gonzalez, he is a polished career politician. He started in District 15 and jumped over to 34 when the maps weren't favoring his way. And what have we seen since then? We have seen how he hasn't won overwhelmingly. If we look at this previous election of November 2024, when he ran against Mayra Flores, the map was designed in a way to favor the Democratic Party by 15 points. Now, whenever I say plus 15, a blue pro-Democrat map, it might not resonate with the average Joe because the numbers that I'm throwing out are more for nerds. Us that follow races. Vicente Gonzalez beat Mayra by 2.6% in November 24 when he was supposed to be favored by plus 15. Vicente Gonzalez isn't as strong as he once was, which is normal for a politician. I don't want to make that seem out of the norm. Why has he associated himself and given so much credibility to someone that just has a lot of question marks? And you see, credibility is something very important. At the end of the day, they always say, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres, right? That's a famous saying that possibly growing up, our family told us, be good. Hang around with a good crowd. People will identify you with who you're with, who you break bread with. Si anda con bandido, esa persona es un bandido. Si anda con drogaditos, que le gusta la tomadera, va a ser un bueno para nada. Right? You've all heard that, and maybe this is something you tell your kids about. Nico, hang out with somebody that is smart, somebody that is knowledgeable, somebody that is a hustler, that has a vision, that has goals. No te juntes con un chúntaro, no te juntes con un marihuano, con un bueno para nada, con un fracaso, because that is what ultimately they're going to be. So credibility, especially in politics, is something very big. I brush shoulders with who and with the who's who of county does carry some weight. And what have we seen, ladies and gentlemen? What have we seen? Well, we have seen how the city of Brownsville commissioners, while they haven't stated it on the record, it is known who they are supporting. And look, I posted this past weekend, Friday, whatever, and people are giving me flack for it. They're like, oh, that's defamation, or oh, that's... People, they can lie to the community. They could say that they do not endorse anybody. They do not support anybody. They could even use that, a picture is an endorsement. And that's fair to say. But when you're involved in the game and you know the players, you have an idea, a very good idea of where they stand. Because at the end of the day, what people have been trying to do with someone such as Steve Guerra is give them credibility. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. Again, it's always good for you to try and rub shoulders with an attorney, with a judge, with a congressman. It looks good, right? But what we have seen and what we have questioned throughout this campaign has been, why? Why are these men, while they do not want to go on the record, and they won't go on the record and say, I support Steve Guerra. Yo tengo huevos. I'm a man. I'm going to support him because of XYZ. You know why they won't go on the record? Gus de Leon, God bless his soul. Oh, false information. My vote is sacred. It's private. Hombre. Sacatito pa'l conejo. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we know the circles. And look, more power to them. I'm not saying that they're bad or evil or they're this, they're that. But what they're trying to do is give credibility. There was a picture of Steve being a part of a cleanup. Now, again, whenever politicians do a cleanup for pictures, it's a photo op, ladies and gentlemen. Did these people do it whenever it was an election? You know, is Steve Guerra doing this out of the kindness of his heart? Steve Guerra had a medical expense that he tries to get to your emotions. Oh, you know, we're going to donate for this family. Do it in private. Steve, you had $5,000 to spare. Give this struggling family 5 G's. Don't publicize it. Do it out of the kindness of your heart. Oh, we're picking up trash. Oh, we're cleaning up the community. Why don't you do it the past year or two? Why is it only convenient? But Gus de Leon and Joan Rodriguez and other community members set this up. Why? For a photo op. For who? For Steve Guerra. Why? They want to build up credibility. And I know, you know, politicians, they shake hands, wave, and kiss babies. We know. But at the end of the day, credibility is something that they've been trying to push on Steve. Now imagine if you have city commissioners throwing their endorsement on you. That says a lot. You see, the city commission right now is stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because if they go on the record of supporting and endorsing Steve Guerra, there are questions about them supporting a huachicol dealer. Now, I've seen people on the page say, well, yeah, that's what he used to do. Okay. I used to break the law, I used to be part of tax evasion by the federal government. Oh, that's nice. I directly helped and funded cartels in Mexico, because now huachicol has taken over for the product. We have seen how they're not really, yes, it hasn't been replaced, but the product, Chiva, Yayo, Tar, whatever you want to call it, Fanta, it's kind of like on the back burner. Haven't you noticed? Go to our page. Huachicol seems to be popping in Mexico. And this was banging back in 8 to 10 years ago. Just now is it becoming like, oh man, it's bad, it's big, it's lucrative. Who wants to be associated with that? And again, there's people that are saying, oh, I'm still going to vote for him. I don't think you understand the severity of saying that I'm going to support a huachicol dealer. The same people that bring violence, that bring death, that disseminate drugs, that kill our youth, that arms the cartels. If that's what you support, what can I tell you? Now, again, I know you're saying, oh, he's not that involved. Again, if you've been covering our program, the company that he was directly sending this to is linked to organized crime. This isn't something that we make up, people. So again, are they going to go on the record and say, I support this man? No, because it looks bad. It's questionable, right? So it's all about credibility. You see, Steve, when he got into this race, he thought it was going to be easy. Nothing is easy in life, Steve. First, you have to check your background. Y la raza dice, ay, tiene cola como todos. ¿Tú qué? Andas mandando fotos. Todos tenemos cola. Pero cuando uno entra a correr en la política, tiene que estar dispuesto a contestar las preguntas que el pueblo tiene. So Steve said, I have people in the city. They're going to support me. I have a constable who could possibly guarantee me, I don't know, 2,000 votes, 3,000 votes, 5,000 votes. Because remember, Steve Guerra, when he ran, or the only time that he ran against someone, he brought in 2,700 votes. Is that enough to get him across the finish line? I'm not sure. I don't think so. That's not promising. So what did he do? He brought in a constable into his team to bring him credibility. You see, that's the way the game works, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about credibility. But what did we see from this man? What do we know from Abel Gomez? Well, Abel Gomez is actively being investigated for numerous, that's the thing, numerous allegations. I can talk about two, but I won't for the sake of, we'll talk about it later after the election. But there are many question marks in regards to Abel Gomez's public service. At the end of the day, there are serious accusations and allegations that Steve Guerra got Abel Gomez off of an investigation that showed that Abel Gomez was buying ammunition that's there on the picture behind them using taxpayer funds. Now, mind you, why would a constable buy ammunition for hunting? That's personal. The investigation, according to insiders, is opening up once again. Because if the fajita bandit got the book thrown at him and he was a county worker, what do we expect from a politician that is stealing directly from the taxpayers? Don't you want to know about that, my people? Aren't you curious about a politician stealing from you, the taxpayer? You see, public service does not seem to be a part of these individuals because once they come into office, it's a different story. With Steve Guerra, there is an active investigation at the Port of Brownsville where, according to insiders, up to 7 arrests will be made by the federal government. There is talks of anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million being stolen by employees under the watch of Steve Guerra. When we say that the port is hot, the port is hot. It's blazing. All under the watch of Steve Guerra. Now, we're talking about credibility, right? Well, I have said over and over again about Steve Guerra not answering questions. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to make an appearance. He doesn't want to show face. He doesn't want to be in front of people. He doesn't want to answer the simple basic questions. Well, look at this video. Who is that?
Constable.
That's Abel Gomez.
You work here? I thought you were a full-time constable.
Abel Gomez is walking away from a citizen wanting to ask him a question because, you see, Abel Gomez is also stealing from you, the people. How? Well, according to open records request, we have been informed that Abel Gomez, for the past 3 or 4 years, has been working at Milam Elementary School in Harlingen. Wait. An elected official, not being a full-time constable, is working security at a school district, not Brownsville? So who is taking care of the levee building? Mr. Eddie Garcia, Judges Linda Salazar, Judge Mary Esther Sorolla, Judge Cindy Nojosa. Are you aware that the man in charge of keeping you safe, of protecting you, is nowhere to be found because he spends his mornings working for the past 3 or 4 years? it's not looking good for Steve and those people that he's been wanting to give him credibility. You see, the whole Abel Gomez thing is going to come up faster than you know it. You know, we posted about his brothers being in intel for the federal government. His daughter, son, family are starting out in the federal government. The wife has a boutique downtown that sells pirates. Pirata. Not paying taxes. You see, the world's about to come down on someone such as Abel Gomez. And this is somebody that Steve wanted to give him credibility. That's not the way it works. But what's even more damning is that Steve feeds off of information. You see, these big shots, they rely on being associated with important people because it's all about who you're with, who you're rubbing shoulders with. Again, credibility is something that we are going to be talking about for the next 20 minutes. You see, Steve Guerra thinks that if he's associated with someone such as the city of Brownsville, commissioners, maybe he might have insights into EDC, BCIC, I don't know. Maybe if he has Abel Gomez, who has a brothers working intel for the federal government, that somehow, some way, Steve will be informed of any, I don't know, investigations, anything happening in the area that maybe he should know about. You see, information is something very powerful that these people want to be close to. And they bring in people such as Abel Gomez to give them that credibility and to get information and to be informed. That is what Steve Guerra is trying to do. It's not working the way he'd like because all this is now coming up. So what now? What we have seen for the past, 3-4 years is how Steve has been, catering to someone such as the congressman. And if you've been following, you have seen how Steve Guerra was in a truck with the congressman and Bobby Pulido, campaigning in 22, 23, back and forth. That's a big deal. It is said that even they go out to eat in McAllen. Their families are very close. Steve supposedly picks up the congressman whenever he sometimes needs a ride from the airport. You see, it's a close relationship that these individuals have created. But the question is, why? I'm telling you a possibility of why Steve would want to be, and again, who wouldn't want to, be buddies with the congressman, right? I'm not hating on him because of that. More power to him. At the end of the day, Steve believes that if he associates with a high-ranking politician, that politician will somehow protect him under his umbrella. I don't know, keep him informed. That's the way these people think, ladies and gentlemen. They hide behind the badge. They hide behind the emblem. They hide behind the politico. That's the way it works. Look here, we have Senator Adam Schiff in Brownsville. With who? With Steve Guerra and Vicente Gonzalez. Steve Guerra is using Vicente Gonzalez to build up his credibility. And he's done a great job up until now. Because now the people are asking, Vicente, what do you get out of it? And look, maybe they're friends. Maybe they built a bond over the years. You have the congressman. You have Bobby Pulido. You have the Hidalgo County judge. And you have Steve Guerra. It is very interesting to learn the dynamics of these relationships, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, whenever we think of relationship, I like to think that it's a mutual one, right? One that they both benefit, because why do I want to be with somebody if I don't benefit from them? It's like you're in a relationship and you don't love the person. You're just going through the motions. And we're not all perfect, right? But we're with people because we genuinely care about them. I would hope. I've been telling you how Steve Guerra has been benefiting from this relationship. Credibility. Possibly to keep them informed on matters that are happening in Cameron County. You see, for the past 3 or 4 years, this has been something that many people have followed and have noticed the closeness these men have. But why, Vicente? Why? You see, Steve Guerra has been a loyal part of Vicente's team. According to campaign finance reports, Steve Guerra at one time was on payroll. You see, Steve Guerra has been planning to run for county judge for quite some time now. Many people were skeptical of why is Steve waiting until the last minute, the 11th hour, the last day to register. This was the talk of the town for the past year or so, possibly longer. Was Vicente Gonzalez aware of what Steve's intentions were? There's nothing wrong with that. It just leads to many questions. So Steve was on Vicente Gonzalez's payroll. More power to him. Why did he take him off? Because that's when I think Vicente realized that he ruffled some feathers. Have you noticed that Vicente Gonzalez hasn't come to Bronsbil lately? It's as if he's avoiding this race. Now, again, every politician, every candidate will tell you, I'm focused on my race. I wish them good luck. I'm focusing on my race. But you see, this is different. Because Guerra has campaigned with Vicente Gonzalez for Christmas gifts, for Easter, for back to school, for get out the vote. Heck, he even went to Washington, to D.C. He went to the Capitol. Ladies and gentlemen, was Vicente Gonzalez aware of Steve Guerra's background? And not only that, his family was invited to participate in the Easter egg hunt on the White House lawn. It was a beautiful thing. But why would Vicente do this? Is he not aware of who he's associating with? Of the allegations that have been made? Very serious allegations that have been made against Steve, and Steve has not been answering them. So now, Congressman, we want to ask you, because you are an elected official. Now, while Steve is currently the chairman of the Port of Brownsville, he is running to be the face of Cameron County. He's not answering questions. As much as he tells us that he is transparent on his campaign literature, actions speak louder than words, because we have stated, Steve, what's your source of income? What do you do? Where's your office located? It's funny. He was set to speak at the Brownsville Crime Stoppers Do the Right Thing luncheon of all events. Did they run his background? Did they vet the keynote speaker? You know, in this race, Eric Garza, who was a former sheriff, who is possibly more knowledgeable in regards to investigations over Eddie Trevino or Steve Guerra, possibly could have been a better keynote speaker. I don't know. Was that political? 1,000%. Steve Guerra did not show up to the Brownsville Crime Stoppers Forum. Steve Guerra did not show up to Principal for the Day at Porter. Why? because he does not want to answer the tough questions. So, Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, are you aware that Steve Guerra is a huachicol dealer? Congressman Gonzalez, are you aware that Steve Guerra is involved in maquinitas on this side of the border in Willacy County with a, I don't know, Eric Solis, who is not well liked by people in Willacy County, according to my source there? Un saludo al compadre. Are you aware of this, Steve? Chente, ¿con cuál gente estás? ¿Con los de Bronsbil o los de Matamoros? You see, it's all about credibility, ladies and gentlemen, that these individuals are seeking. But now, since Steve Guerra isn't going to answer this question, well, Chente, I guess it's up to you. What's your take on this? Do you endorse Steve Guerra for county judge? Will you like to go on the record, sir? Or are you going to say, you're going to cop out like Gustavo de Leon, no ball, and say, my vote is private? I think these are very serious allegations that are being made by someone. By someone that is very close to you, Congressman, that could possibly affect your campaign. And if you don't answer or address these questions, it's not going to look good, sir. Because when stuff hits the fan, guess whose pictures are going to be shown with a congressman? Wouldn't it be best for you to come out on the record and denounce this? You see, there's going to be a forum on Tuesday on the day of early voting. And this is actually cool because what's going to happen is that they're going to have like a workshop type of conference where all the candidates are throughout the room. Hey, you want to go ask the Democratic state rep for District 37 running for that position? You want to ask him a question? You could go to their booth. Hey, you have a question for the 13th Court of Appeals justice seeking office? You can go to their booth. You have a question in regards to the Cameron County clerk or the treasurer's position? You can go to the respective booths. You have a question for Judge Eddie Trevino? He's going to be present. You know who's also going to be present? Congressman Vicente Gonzalez. Sir, I may go and ask you if you're aware that someone that is associated with you is a huachicol leader for the past 2 years that we can prove, possibly longer. Are you aware that in Willacy County there are maquinitas in operation by the likes of Eric Solis and Steve Guerra, sir? You know, I wasn't going to go, but my production team says, hey, why not? People don't seem to like you, Frankie. People think you're the cucuy. Why don't you show up, go live, and ask the congressman a very simple question? Congressman, are you aware that Steve Guerra is a huachicol dealer? Would you like to make a statement, sir? Are you aware that there's allegations of tax evasion in the millions and millions of dollars that aren't being reported? You see, nobody's willing to ask those tough questions, Congressman. But I will. You see, credibility is very important. We tend to give credibility to those that we are like-minded with, those that we associate with. Why have you been giving Steve Guerra credibility, sir? Do you have something in common? Is there a common goal? I don't want to assume. You know what happens with assume. We make a of you and I, right? But it's better for us to hear it from the candidate himself, because again, I've been throwing this information for the past month. Steve Guerra has got in a hole and he's not coming out. He's not answering questions. That looks bad, in my opinion. And again, this is my opinion. I want politicians that answer the tough questions, that say, look, you have it wrong. They're saying that I'm defaming someone. I don't know how I could defame someone when there's lawsuits. This is public information. I'm not making things up, ladies and gentlemen. So, credibility has something very important that is happening in the dynamics of this relationship. We know, and we've been talking about why Steve Guerra would, or who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't want to rub elbows with the congressman? It gives Steve Guerra credibility. It gives him respect. Oh, look, he's with the congressman. Possibly he's protected under an umbrella. I don't know. If information is needed, he knows where to go. I don't know. So that is why Steve is hanging out with the congressman. Congressman, why are you hanging out with Steve? What's your benefit? Or is this the good old kumbaya where friends are just friends and we like our time together? Are you benefiting, Congressman, from anything that this entrepreneur, huachicol dealer, maquinitas, tax evasion person? Is there a benefit or no? Hey, gentlemen, I'm just asking the simple questions, and maybe that gets me in trouble, Chingo. At the end of the day, these are very serious allegations, and if these politicians aren't able to answer these very simple questions, they don't deserve our vote. They're not worthy enough, because a humble servant wanting to represent you will say, ask me anything. I'm an open book. I'm here at your disposal. This is my number. This is my contact information. Whatever you need. So I leave you with this question, Bronsbil. You see, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And it's true. Because this picture on the Capitol Hill, where the congressman is forcing a smile and he's posing shoulder to shoulder with the city's most notorious huachicolero, while the cameras flashed, it sealed an image. An elected official lending the weight of his office in Congress in Washington, D.C. to a man who cannot account for the cash that has created his empire. Everyone knows the rumors that Guerras' fortune has or continues to be funneled from huachicol. Yet Gonzalez speaks so warmly of an entrepreneurial spirit and a community involvement member. Credibility has become a currency more valuable than oil, and the congressman spends it lavishly on a man whose wealth we do not know how it originated. So I ask you, bring me up. Chente, ¿cuál gente estás? ¿Con los de Bronsbil o los de Matamoros? And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Best believe we'll come on Monday through Friday religiously. All we ask of our people is something very simple. Make sure that you are subscribed to all of our social media platforms. More importantly, make sure you're subscribed to YouTube TV, Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube. We will not be silenced. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Happy Monday. See you here tomorrow. God bless. Peace. Hmm.